And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Master Your Mindset podcast. I am Liz Jacoy, and I am your host today. And this podcast is really to educate you and so that you can learn more about the neuroscience, about what's going on with your mind, your body, your soul, your gut today. And it's really about a lot of people that I bring onto my show, whether they're copywriters or networking professionals, whatever they do, there is always a mindset component in everything we do. So that's why I built this podcast. So welcome. And I'm going to briefly introduce my guest today, and then Dr. Ishani Patel will go into more details about you. And I have some questions I'm going to ask her. And by all means, please connect with her if you like. She's got her email there, but she also she's probably going to put it later in the comment section in the YouTube and everywhere else. This is streaming Facebook. I'm streaming onto LinkedIn and YouTube channel. Oh, and by all means, if you want it, please hit the subscribe button in my YouTube channel, because that helps me and it helps people like Dr. Ishani Patel as well to bring this information out there. And the more people that we can impact and help, the better we feel. And of course, the more I'm thinking of even doing this podcast twice a week, but I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Dr. Ishani Patel. I'm not really sure how long I've known you, but it's been quite a while now. And she's a naturopathic doctor. I love what she says about it. So I'm going to leave that sentence up to you. And she's got all the credentials because she's graduated from the naturopathic medicine at Trent. And she really, and I know this because I've been in contact with her for quite some time now. But what I love about Dr. Ishani Patel is that she really is passionate about her patients and getting to the root cause of their health concern. And really, that's what it's all about. In my practice and in yours too, is about really empowering people, giving them the tools so they don't have to rely on us, right? And you can go into more detail about that if you like. So why don't we just take a moment and get you to, because I love that 30-second or whatever phrases that you, and I would be able to give it justice. So if you could introduce yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, no, for sure, Liz. And again, I'm so excited to be part of your podcast today. I think you're amazing. And you're totally right. I feel like we've known each other for so long, and I just love what you do. And I'm right there with you. We're just trying to help our patients feel better. We're just trying to help them live happier, healthier lives. So I love it. But yeah, hi, everybody. As Liz said, I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I practice in Toronto currently. So I work through a few clinics in Toronto, and I see patients virtually and in person. But basically, the easiest way to really understand what I do and what Liz was saying is my quick 30-second spiel is think of a medical doctor. So we're able to diagnose, we can treat, we can order blood work, we can do physical exams, we can do everything they can do, but our approach is different. And as Liz said, it really is focused on determining the root cause of your health concerns. I'm not just treating your symptoms, but I'm trying to figure out, why are you so bloated? Or why are you experiencing anxiety? I'm really trying to determine the root cause so we're able to prevent any worsening. We're trying to optimize your quality of life, and we're just trying to allow the body to heal itself using really safe and effective treatment options.
Absolutely, that's wonderful, and I love that so much. And you are so needed out there, because there's a lot of things that the medical profession just doesn't have the time to address that you can address and help with in the natural way, right? To be honest, I took my son to a naturopath, gosh, about 10 years ago, and it really helped him. So, and I didn't have a plan. I paid for it out of my own pocket, but I'm that type of person that believes that health is the most important thing. And no matter what it costs, right, it's worth it. So he's changed quite a bit since then. And hey, I knew you, and you would have been helping my son. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I'm so
Anyways,
happy that he got so much help. And yeah, that was amazing.
For sure. So reach out, and you'll find out more about why you should reach out to Dr. Ishani Patel in this podcast. One of the things I want to dive into before we dive into the business portion, mindset portion part, is one of the things you were telling me is that you like to, you love spending time with your loved ones, go on walks, of course, and you
Yeah.
also like to try new food places around the city.
Yeah.
So can you share with us maybe what that latest new food place is
Oh
and
my
maybe
god,
what you
yeah. I love it. So I actually live at Yonge and Eglinton. So a lot of the food adventures I've been trying to do is just kind of experimenting in Yonge and Egg where I'm at. And I've been really just diving into like the tacos and the Mexican restaurants. I'm a taco girl. That's me. It's in my blood. So yeah, I've been just looking into a lot of taco Mexican places, trying really good burritos, like quesadillas, enchiladas. I've been having a lot of those recently, and I can't complain. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm into right now.
Oh, I love Mexican food.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of new places that popped up in Pickering, I think. So we're going to go check those out. So I'll keep you posted when I
Yeah.
do go, since you're
Yeah,
a
for sure.
Mexican foodie like me right now. So it's great.
Yeah, I love it.
Um, awesome. Yeah. I really want to dive into a little bit about um, the three core values that you have, and
Mhm.
that's honesty, compassion, and collaboration. And maybe you could tell us how that might be linked to your work as a naturopathic doctor. And maybe perhaps that's why you became a naturopathic doctor.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would love to go into this. So, as Liz said, yeah, these are my three core values. And these are core values that are personal to me, but also for all of my patients too, and what I want to show in all of my patient visits. So, the first one is honesty. So, honesty in the sense where I'm very open and honest about treatment options for my patients, where I'm telling them which treatment options are the best for them, being very honest about timelines as well, especially when we're dealing with hormonal health. That can definitely take a few months to really get the peak benefits that you're trying to see. So, really being transparent on when you're going to expect results for your treatments and why
Yeah.
consistency is key.
Mhm.
Another thing is, I want my patients to be honest with me, right? Like from the first visit, I want them to be very transparent on what treatments they tried, what didn't work for them, or what treatment options they want to do. Because as an ND, I can provide such a wide variety of treatment options. It can be lifestyle modifications, so nutrition, it can be counseling, it can be coaching around physical activity, but it can even include supplementation. I could do acupuncture, I could give Chinese
Mhm.
medicine herbs, or do chiropractic adjustments and massage. So I really want my patients to be honest with me about, I'm open to doing these treatments right now, but I don't want to do these. And the reason why I really value this honesty from my patients is because it really allows me to create the best treatment plan for them, right? The best treatment plan for you is going to be different from someone else's treatment plan because it's very unique to you and what fits your lifestyle. So those are just ways that I show honesty if with my patients. The other one is compassion. I have a very big heart and I just care so much about people. And this is not just my family and friends, but for people that I see in my office. And that compassion just comes from my patients, just really being that support for them on their health journey. I have patients that come into my practice who aren't getting the best care from their healthcare provider, or who don't have the best support network, right? Maybe their family
Mhm.
is not living close by, or they just need another healthcare provider to advocate for them and for their health. I really show that compassion and empathy for my patients by always being there for them. Like, I'm very approachable on email if there's any emerging questions. And if they need me to reach out to any healthcare practitioner, I am always open to do that for them and for their health. And the last one is collaboration. I completely value that there's so many healthcare practitioners and they're all amazing at what they do, and together we can really optimize all of our patients' health. So I really value collaborating with other healthcare practitioners. So this means chiropractors, massage therapists, but even medical doctors. I love working with MDs because I know that we both have something really special to offer. And the other collaboration is with my patients. I want us to work as a team because ultimately this is your health journey and I'm just on the journey with you. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Not only do I have to be honest with my clients in terms of what they're going to get and what to expect,
Yeah.
and also to see their blind spots and not hold it back, because if they don't see their blind spots, right? I mean, that's what I'm there for. And sometimes I'll say, I may not know how to couch this properly, right? Because sometimes you just don't know the right words and you don't want to offend people. But definitely honesty, I value that so much myself, because I think the more open you are with,
Mhm.
Dr. Patel or myself,
Mhm.
the more we can help you.
Of course.
Because if you come and tell us, oh, by the way, this happened, 3 weeks ago, meanwhile, you've been working together, right? I don't know about you, but maybe you can chime in here. One of the things I offer my clients is 24/7 support. So if those things do pop up in their life, that they just quickly hit I call it Voxer. They can quickly hit the Voxer button and record something for me, so they don't even have to worry about writing it down. It's top of mind and it releases them for them.
That's
Do you offer
amazing.
that anything? Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, Liz. I love that strategy for sure.
Yeah.
It's just it's again enhancing honesty for sure for your patients and just letting them be so transparent with you on their health journey, right? And just it helps you treat them and support them better.
Yeah, and even in between sessions, right? Because still,
Yeah,
you want them to progress daily, not just like, during the sessions, but daily. So
yeah.
definitely compassion. I see that in you so much. I mean, I've seen you speak a few times as well, and definitely collaboration. And that's why I'm thinking of ways that you and I'm always thinking how we can work together, how we can. I'm inviting you to like some of the networking groups that I belong to, because then some of the networking groups that I belong to, especially they are really heartfelt, soulful people who really want to help and give you referrals, and of course you give referrals back. So that's what I love about it, and that's that collaboration, but always looking at that as well. So speaking of helping and being compassionate,
Mhm.
what would you say is are there a specific specialty or area that you like to treat most, or maybe
Mhm.
the top three, or something that you think
Yeah,
people should be really aware of, like
for
especially
sure.
now heading into the summer season?
Yeah, no, I love supporting all types of people, Liz, but I have a very specific passion for women's health. So that could be anything from like infertility, pregnancy, but it could even be like menopause, or it could be like having PCOS, for example, or just having period concerns. I also focus a lot on hormonal health. So that also can be menopause, but it can even be thyroid issues or burnout, chronic stress, for example. I also focus a lot on gut health. And I feel like gut health is such a big focus nowadays. And I'm so glad it is because it's so important. But gut concerns being like certain conditions you're diagnosed with. So it could be like IBS, IBD, or it could be symptoms you're experiencing and you just want to find out what's going on. So it could be bloating, it could be abdominal pain, or even constipation, things like that. And the last focus I do is autoimmunity. So that could be maybe you're diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, or you have a family
Mm.
history of autoimmune conditions and you want to prevent it, or you want to really dig deep and assess your risk for it. And these main focuses that I picked in my practice really just stem from my personal experience. Like I was a young girl and I had my own period issues where I had irregular periods, I had really heavy flow as well, but also I had gut related issues. And a lot of my gut concerns were correlated to my mental health. I had really chronic stress. And also, I have quite a few family members and friends who had autoimmune conditions. And I saw that women specifically, but even people who had gut related concerns and people who have autoimmune related concerns, they weren't getting the health care that they wanted to get. And I knew that there had to be a better option. I knew that there had to be another healthcare provider who could be an additive support on their team. And that's what really led me to pick these niches, is to really help women feel empowered and really help these other populations that experience these health concerns feel like there's hope. Feel like there's a chance for you to live your happy, healthy life when you address these health concerns in the best way possible for you.
Really glad that you mentioned that, because recently a friend of mine, her husband has some
Mhm.
autoimmune deficiency. So I'm definitely gonna message her and see if maybe the two of you can get together and chat. And her name, well, no, I won't say her name because that's confidential. Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Sure.
And the other thing is the PCOS. Yeah,
Yeah.
my daughter, like this is so important, and probably for people like me who have children that are, of, menstrual age and that sort of thing. My
Mhm.
daughter was diagnosed with, God, she was having problems with her menstrual cycle, and took her to an endocrinologist. He
Mhm.
didn't really help her, to be honest. He just put her on birth control pills.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there could have been something else, and I knew
Mhm.
it was more related to the gut and nutrition.
Mhm.
And so, if it, no, yeah. So if that can help. So that might be something we can chat about too
Right.
offline, because I don't want to take up that. But
Yeah.
definitely, especially people my age,
Yeah.
who are having kids can now see that, there's just so much going on in the world. And, doctors, unfortunately, they have a limited scope. And I think someone like yourself who is really will take the time to do what it needs to take to get to the root cause is really important. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. Now, I'm into that more mind body connection, like the mindset. I also believe that nutrition is very important, exercise and sleep, of course, for the body. And in terms of the mind, it's more, looking at how the thinking and the feeling and the behaviors that people are taking and how that's limiting their beliefs in some time. But I want to talk to you about I guess, the more naturopathic perspective.
Hmm.
How do you help your patients in terms of, we'll get to the gut health in a moment,
Yeah.
but in terms of overall health and well-being from that mind-body connection perspective?
Yeah. No, Liz, I love this question. Like, I focus on the mind body connection in all of my patient visits, right? Because I have seen these two parts of the body just link and correlate to so many different health concerns. And when we think about the mind body connection, it's focused on holistic health, right? It's focused on looking at the body as a whole. Right. And the easiest way to think about the mind body connection that I think we all need to focus on when we're trying to optimize our quality of life is that every single cell and all the organs in the
Mm.
body, they talk to one another. So let's say if you're experiencing gut related issues, you got to look at all the other systems in the body that the gut talks to. So for example, you got to look at your endocrine system, see how your hormones are functioning. You got to look at your liver, make sure that it's detoxifying well to really eliminate pathogens, eliminate, like, even for making sure you have regular bowel movements. You also have to look at your mental health, right? Chronic stress and anxiety can cause inflammation in the gut. So you have to look at all these different components. And when you're trying to optimize your overall health, you have to treat your body as a whole. And that is supporting your mind body connection in the end. So, in terms of naturopathic techniques that I use to support the mind body connection, I really focus on foundation, right?
Mm.
Foundation of health are so important because they really help you sustain your optimal state of health like 20 or 40 years down the road. But it really has the best research on supporting that mind body connection. So that's exactly what you were mentioning, Liz. It's focusing on your nutrition. It's focusing on your sleep, prioritizing sleep as well, your mental health, making sure that you're really supporting your mood regulation, your nervous system regulation, and physical activity. But in addition to that, when we're trying to support that mind body connection, a big part of it is using mindfulness strategies. So these include meditation, it could be guided deep breathing, it could be also Tai Chi or yoga, it could even be progressive muscle relaxation, or even additional treatment options to support nervous system regulation, like biofeedback, for example. But really supporting your vagus nerve regulation and really supporting your mental health is so important. But when we think about all of these, there's so many to choose from, right? So you really have to pick the main ones that work the best for you. And consistency is so key to really help nourish that mind body connection. But another tip I also often use is contrast showers as well. It
Oh,
really does
yeah.
wonders to support that mind body connection. I do it and I just notice like my mood is so much better and like my gut and my whole body feels great. So that's another bonus for definitely supporting that mind body connection.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that because, there seems to be some people out there that do these plunges and then they go into
Yeah.
Lake Ontario. But you know what? If you don't, we all complain about not having enough time. And so when my patients, well, not, I shouldn't, they're not patients, clients say, I don't have time for that. I go, you're in the shower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just turn it down a little, turn it
Make
towards
your
that
cooler.
cold setting a little, like, and take 10 seconds. It's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then message me on Voxer and let me know how it went, right? So
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, it doesn't have to take, you don't have to, travel. You can
No.
do it right in your shower. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that because I'm a proponent, like everything they said there, sleep, exercise, shower, all that kind of stuff. So that kind of moving on to, I know myself, I want to
Mhm.
do it myself. And I was
Yeah.
like that until about 6 years ago when I finally reached out and hired a coach. And sometimes we want to do things ourselves, or
Mhm.
we don't do anything until we get the diagnosis, right?
For
And
sure.
then it's like, oh, I got the x-ray or I got the blood work.
Mhm.
And so I'm kind of trying to do things, not trying, I'm, scratch that word. I'm working on educating people more on prevention, right?
Mhm.
And so, is there anything that you can, maybe one little tip in that area, and maybe for one illness that you might want people to say that this is something they can start looking at as a prevention for an illness that you treat?
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest tip I can give is your foundations, for sure. That is number one in terms of supporting your health and preventing a wide range of diseases from occurring in the future. But sorry, but in addition to that, the other thing I really focus on prevention is really keeping up to date on your blood work, right? I
Mm,
feel like a lot of us may put blood work on the back burner. And I'm guilty of this myself too. In a busy schedule, we forget to get our blood work done. But our blood work tells us so much about our health, especially if you're really doing a comprehensive blood workup. So, for example, if someone is like maybe has a family history of autoimmune conditions or even thyroid conditions, let's even kind of think about thyroid, for example, it's really important to just keep up to date on getting a full thyroid panel, but also looking at the other organs that your thyroid talks to, right? To just prevent any worsening of those organ functionings in the future. So that means checking on your cardiovascular health. So, when was the last time that you did a cholesterol panel? You looked at your
mm,
cardiovascular risk, you looked at your salt, you looked at your kidney functioning as well. The other thing is that your thyroid talks a lot to your stress hormones. So maybe you should get your cortisol levels tested, see where those levels are at. And then you can also look at, okay, which vitamins and nutrients am I at more risk for because of a low thyroid functioning picture? Okay, maybe I should check on my B12. I should check on my iron. I should also check on my vitamin D. So, in terms of blood work, it really means checking in on all your organ functioning and doing these on a really consistent basis. So, doing it about every 6 months and then making sure that if you are taking any supplements, so let's say you're taking a vitamin D, making sure you're actually keeping up with testing to see if those levels are actually getting better, or if they're
mm.
not, then adjust the treatment plan and make changes as needed. So that's one of the biggest things I do for all my patients is get blood work done and I monitor to see their progression on prevention as well.
Wonderful. I love that. And I'm also thinking that that's something, you know, stop stop expecting your doctor to tell you, do this blood work. Stop expecting your doctor to say, get your annual checkup. It's up to you, right? Would you agree? It's up to us. It's up to us to be empowered to, and you reminded me that I've got to get my blood work done for my cholesterol in July. So thank you. Um, yeah, so and that's when you were saying that, it's like, yeah, it's not up to me to wait till the doctor phones me. It's up to
Mhm.
me because And this is some key that I want to stress, and I'm so glad that you mentioned like just a simple blood work, just to keep on top, make sure everything is running smoothly and with everything that's going on in our bodies and systems. But why wait until you end up in the emergency ward or in the hospital because something happened, and then it's like, oh my God, why didn't I? Right? You could finish the sentence for you. Why
No,
didn't I blot? Right?
yeah,
Uh,
I completely agree with you, Liz, right? We don't have to wait till something bad happens to take charge of our health. You have the power to do it now. And you can start to do things now. And the blood work just really gives us the chance of not guessing, right? Like, I don't want you to go and get 20 supplements for pain and hope that it helps you. Let's kind of look into your blood work. What's going on? Do you have a hormone issue? Do you have high levels of inflammation in your body? How's your gut health? Like, let's actually test, figure out what's going on, and then you can really create the best treatment plan for yourself. And I totally agree with you in that sense, right? We have the power. We have so much power. We just have to start to make those steps. And then it's all
yeah.
in your hands.
I'm so grateful that you're out there, and I wish I'd met you about 20, 30 years ago when I was having IBS problems, right? Because all the
Yeah.
doctor would tell me would give me all these medications, and then I'd
Mm,
have to go back because it was bothering me, and then it's, well, just try that over-the-counter stuff, Align. That
yeah.
didn't work, and then we take Imodium to stop the, what? That didn't work. It's like, and then I guess through my own readings, right, I found that it had a
Of
lot to do with my thinking, right? The
course.
stress, the chronic stress, the anxiety, and all those things. It was really my thinking. So I started to change that. But then I bet you I probably, like, even with that, I was still having problems, even though I was meditating and stuff. So yeah, I definitely would seek you out when I start having, I should probably just seek you out, period. I'm thinking about that now, just to sort of, you know, it wouldn't hurt because there's certain things that you're probably going to look at
Of
that
course.
my family physician might not think about either, because he may be more concerned about other things like my cholesterol and my
Yeah.
kidney and like those things, instead of, you would probably, based on what I'm telling you that I'm experiencing, you might say, oh, you know what, we need to do this, 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 and this. And
Yeah.
that's, because don't get me wrong, I love my family doctor. I think there's that gap, and that's where you can come in to fill that gap. That's really, really crucial and necessary.
Totally, totally. And it's all about like also different perspectives, right? Like we all
Right.
have different perspectives for our patients' health. And even taking account of your family medical history can give us such big insight on prevention and also even looking at common conditions that coexist. Example with IBS, there's certain conditions that can coexist together. So when we're trying to optimize our health, we have to look at what the research is saying for sure, but we're also really looking into your health history, and your family's health history. All of that is really
Yeah.
important to take into account.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me on to family history. Is this a good
Mhm.
segue into the next thing I wanted to talk to you about? Because this is something that I'm researching and very interested in. My
Wow.
mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, dementia, probably back in, oh gosh, 2000, and hard to say, 8,
Okay.
maybe somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And so I started researching, and of course they put her on medication, or they just said, well, it's just going to get, nothing was really
Mhm.
discussed in those days. But I think it's come a long way now, because now we're starting to realize how nutrition plays a big part, how exercise plays a big part, and of course mindset. That's what I'm working on right now as well, is how crucial it is to really, it's not really well, Carol Dweck, you've probably heard of her, the growth mindset versus fixed mindset. I
Mhm.
truly believe that it's, when I looked at my mom, and like, she was in long-term care for about 8 years. When I looked at my mom and all the other patients, that's what I was kind of observing and researching. I truly believe, and I looked at them, a lot of them that have that fixed mindset, that
Mhm.
negative mindset,
Mhm.
that it's really toxic, not only to your gut health, it's toxic to your heart, but also your mind. So it's really, and a lot of neurogenetic conditions. So that's what I'm looking at. and I've
Yeah.
more recently read, but I don't have the research, so maybe you can help me talk about this, is there's that it's not so much the protein, beta protein amyloids anymore, and nutrition is a big part, but it's not so much, what was it? It was more related to gut health. So
Mhm.
is there anything that you know about that? Because I'm not as conversant as you, because you focus more on the gut, whereas I focus more on the brain.
Yeah.
What they're, what that is, and
Mhm.
how you can help with natural means.
Of course. Yeah, I'll tell you. So I actually been seeing quite a few patients with Alzheimer's as well, and a family history of Alzheimer's. So I've been diving deep in this too. I'm right there with you. And yeah, there's a lot of new research on gut health with Alzheimer's and specifically neurological conditions in general. And what I've been seeing in the research specifically with Alzheimer's is that the gut microbiome is playing a really big role. There's a lot of information coming out about how our gut microbiome is playing a really big role in inflammation, the inflammatory response, the level of inflammation in our brain, which tends to be another etiology cause of Alzheimer's that they're also bringing into more light and more theory as well. So, what the research with the gut is really evolved around the gut microbiome, optimizing the bacteria that should be living in your gut microbiome to really balance the level of inflammation and therefore support people with Alzheimer's and just living a happier, healthy life and really prolonging that life as well.
Awesome. I'm going to get you, that reminds me, I'm doing a webinar sometime in
Mhm.
the near future, and I'm meeting with someone the end of June, and they're doing this whole summit for seniors and stuff, and I think you would be an amazing addition to that. So let me, I'll probably connect you guys later. We'll get into that a little bit later, but remind me if I forget in the next week or two.
Sure, Liz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really important. And one of the things I want to stress, and that's kind of why I do what I do, is
Mhm.
because I want people to start taking their health seriously. And I know that life and career and job, but really by the time you hit your 30s, 40, especially 40s, because I've seen people even with Alzheimer's show up in their 50s,
Yeah.
and it's really debilitating for, the teenagers and that sort of thing. So start looking at prevention now with Dr. Ishani Patel. Seek me out as well in terms of if you feel that person could benefit from mindset. Because one of the things that research that I did was
Mhm.
they had 50-year-olds meditate for 30 days,
Mhm.
and they did MRI scans before and electrical, well, ECGs beforehand,
Yeah.
and then they did it 30 days later. And what they found was, the neocortex. I wonder if they have something like for the gut health too, but the neocortex in Alzheimer's dementia patients, it's that gray matter,
Yeah.
actually shrinks and creates more grooves. And what they found was after 30 days of consistent meditation, and that's
Mhm.
just calming the mind. And don't worry if you do meditate, by the way. I still have thought, like, I was meditating today and I couldn't, like, all these thoughts are coming in my head. You just learn that it's okay. You just,
Yeah.
you know what? We'll think about you later. So it's okay if those, just keep meditating is what I'm trying to say. And
Mhm.
they found that the neocortex um, was smoother,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it just really changed their life. They felt younger, they felt more alive than they did afterwards. So there's a lot of benefits to, and I'm sure they had all sorts of controls in place for like nutrition and that sort of thing as well. So
Mhm.
definitely reach out, because I'm really serious about how to bring this education out there so that we can reduce the amount of, what's that word? People going into long-term care, and
Yeah.
and and just the impact that that has on the families that have to care, that don't have the financial means to put their family into long-term care, and they're
Yeah.
battling having to work and look after the wandering patient, or what, you know what I mean? So it's really, really crucial that people, don't you agree, taking their
Absolutely.
health and matter into their hands as early as possible.
I
But if you can't,
totally.
I
Yeah.
would say 35, at least by the time you reach 35, 40, hopefully you'll have some, maybe some more insight then. What do you think?
I totally agree with you, Liz, right? We don't have to wait. We really don't. We can start whenever even when we're 20, but it's also not too late to start. If you feel like you're 70 right now and you're like, you know what, I think it's too late for me, it's not. You can start to create small changes. It could be adding more water, it could be moving and walking 10 minutes a day, and you have no idea how those little changes make an impact on your health. So it's really about, and what I tell this with all my patients too, is that if this seems overwhelming, right, to like really make changes in your life or take really a big stand around your health, it's all about setting realistic goals, right? Someone else's goals are not going to fit your goals. So it's all about starting off small and picking one or two things that you can do consistently. And you can choose what you want to do. It could be sleeping 1 hour earlier, or it could be going on a walk for 10 minutes. But pick one or two goals and just see how much of a difference that makes for you over being consistent over a few weeks. And I promise you, you're going to be shocked.
Yeah, for sure. Great advice. And I totally agree because that's what I've read in all my research. And I'm looking over here, I've got like 3 books on Alzheimer's that I'm going through right now. So yeah, totally get. And that's pretty much what they say too. So really
Yeah,
focusing on the nutrition, the exercise, gut health, and
mhm,
mindset for sure.
of
Oh,
course.
well, I have to say, I've really enjoyed our time together here today. I'm sure you and I can just chat endlessly, I'm sure. But before we kind of end the interview, what are 3 things that you would want our listeners to do to, let's say, increase their energy?
Ooh, good question. I get this a lot in my practice. Okay, so first thing is drink water. Okay, so make
Mm.
sure you're drinking 2 to 3 liters of water a day. Okay, that's number one. Number two is make sure you're adding in more protein.
Oh,
Okay, so important. A lot of us are not eating enough protein. So, really make sure you're eating high protein breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And don't forget the other things that we're probably low in. So, your fiber and your healthy fats. Okay. And then the third tip is if it's been 3 months and you haven't gotten blood work, go get it done. So, check the biggest causes that can affect your energy. So, look at your iron, look at your B12, look at your vitamin D, your thyroid, and your blood sugar markers. Okay, go get these tested if it's been at least 3 months. And then you can see me if you want to make sure that they're at optimal levels, or you can talk to your healthcare provider.
absolutely. Thank you so much. I love that. Don't forget to reach out to Dr. Ishani Patel. You could see across the banner there. She's got her email there. And if you have any questions with regards to related to mindset for your business, your life, and your leadership, it's maybe you're having some challenges that you think are beyond your control. We can chat about that as well. Anyways, thank you very much, Dr. Shani Patel, for being here today, and thank you for tuning in.
Amazing. Thanks so much for having me, Liz. You're amazing. You're an angel, and I just love what you do. And I think we need more people like you to also make a difference in
Aw,
healthcare. And thank you to everyone who is listening as well.
thank you.